Hey, everybody, welcome back to another hot episode of a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear and discuss them over a glass of wine. I'm your boy, Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here, as always, by my brainy co-host, Kat Halstead, the author. Welcome back, girl.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, glad we're still here, still floating around on the third rock from the sun, just spinning. And happy holidays, our favorite time of year.
Here comes the booze! Message me your address later so I can send you one. I have a koozie that says, "More booze, please."
Ooh, I like it. I dig.
And then I got decals at the Dollar Tree to put on wine glasses that say, "Here for the booze."
Yes, shout out to our swag. Maybe we'll send one to Heather, too, because, I don't know, I feel like we owe her a lot.
If I can find another one.
Yeah, you know what? You can send her mine. I think she'll appreciate it. And I still owe her a Christmas ornament from like 7 years ago, so maybe she'll get it this year.
Yeah.
This will be the year. All right, yeah, this is our official...
Sorry.
Nope. Hold on. She's over there playing bartender.
There goes my lemonade.
From, is that a 7-Eleven cup?
No, it's from Cane's. Raising Cane's chicken.
Raisin Cane's. It's like, cane a chicken? Like, is it the name of a chicken?
I don't know. It's just really good chicken. Chicken fingers.
Yeah, shout out to Chicken Fingers and all the noise Cat's making over there.
Would it be a podcast if one of us wasn't making ridiculous amounts of noise?
It would not. You know what? I should just go pop some popcorn. Get it over with.
Oh god, no. Not again.
Alright, this is the official start of Here Comes the Booze. You probably heard our last few episodes, which we recorded in like April of 2021. Kind of holdovers.
Life was very different then.
Welcome. This is our time of year where we just kind of do Halloween-themed episodes. Things get spooky. We like to scare ourselves. We have some tricks and our treats and all that other good stuff. So, I don't know. I think I'll let you slide into this and tell us what fabulous, fun television series from yesteryear that we are dipping into for the first time. Officially.
Officially, yes. We are diving into a show from the late 80s, early 90s. It is a very popular show, but it kind of like disappeared from syndication for a while. It has a very interesting cast. It's one we have talked about many times. I was actually very convinced we did an episode. I could have sworn we did an episode.
Yeah, you're going to listen to an episode that's coming out in the future in which we bring it up. This is a pre-recorded episode that we recorded like weeks ago, but it's not going to come out for a while. We're going to talk about how we never done Head of the Class, but as of the recording, we had it. So just in case you guys get confused,
yeah.
I don't know, you send us some angry messages. We know we fucked up.
I was honestly convinced we did an episode. I must have like come across an episode of Head of the Class at like 3 o'clock in the morning when I couldn't sleep or something.
Yeah, probably.
Watched it, and then I don't even know. Like, just convinced myself because I had seen it recently. It had to have been for the podcast.
Like, there's no way in hell you would have just thrown on a random episode of Head of the Class for like your own enjoyment. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, okay. No. Okay, because that's a lie. Because if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok,
oh god,
you know that ain't true.
So this episode is recorded after Kat Halstead, the author, watched every single episode of like Head of the Class in like a 3-week span,
yeah.
And TikToked about it.
Yes, I made Instagram stories and TikToks.
So can you still find these? Are these still?
Yes, they're still. In fact, as of our recording, all the season 1 videos are up on our YouTube page.
I did see that. You know what? I think I commented on it too, actually.
Maybe. I don't even remember. I have not had a chance to sit down and get the other seasons up, but I haven't finished I'm trying to like do like 1, maybe 2 episodes a day on TikTok. So probably by the time this episode goes up, I will have season 5 done on TikTok.
We'll see. All right. So if you can connect the dots, we're doing Head of the Class. It's Halloween season, so you know something spooky is happening in this episode. Am I right?
Yes. Okay. This is not an official Halloween episode of Head of the Class.
No, but close enough.
They do have one. I just really hate that episode.
Oh, okay. Well, good to know.
Because it becomes a very special episode.
Oh.
Two-parter.
The Halloween two-parter that's also a very special ep?
Like, the first part of it takes place on Halloween, and then the second part is, like, the aftermath of...
It's like the next day. It's November 1st.
It's like a gun safety, bringing guns to school thing. I was just like, I'm not comfortable with this episode.
Oh, those are my favorite. I love when I love a good teen brings a gun to a school episode from the 70s or 80s or 90s. Those are like my...
Oh my god. Patrick, you will love this. Like, I just actually rewatched it the other night.
Does it check all the boxes off for me?
In that episode, you get the other students trying to pull a prank on Dennis.
Okay.
Teachers in ridiculous costumes like a bunny rabbit.
Ooh, that's checking all the boxes right there.
You get our nerdy guy dressed as Batman.
Oh, like the Adam West Batman? Because this is probably before Michael Keaton. Or is it like...
Michael Keaton.
Okay, it's like lined up with the release of Batman, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Batman probably came out the summer before.
Yeah, exactly. You get the social lesson about guns in America.
Oh, I love a good social lesson about guns in America in my sitcoms.
You get the weird, sketchy guy in the gun store who sells the nerdy kid a gun, who's like, this will be a great visual aid for my report. And I'm like, how are you a fucking genius?
It was part of his schoolwork, or it was like part of his costume? I was just trying to piece it together.
No, okay, so in that one, their teacher, Billy, because at that point, Mr. Moore, Howard Hessman has gone, had just been mugged, and he's like, guns are everywhere in America, and he's having like this slight mini meltdown over it.
Okay.
And like Alan, our little conservative dude who I love, is all like, well, we have a right to bear arms, and then he and the like new agey physicist decide to go to a gun store to like ask questions about how easy it is to actually buy a gun. And the nerdy guy, Arvid tags along to like avoid his bully after school who wants $1 from him. And while Alan and Vicky talk to the owner of the gun store in the back, he's like, yeah, let me show you some of these forms, like for your school report. And this guy at the gun store is like, hey kid, I got this for you. Only $20. And it's like a Saturday night special. And Arvid's like, oh, this will be so cool for my report as a visual aid. And I'm like, dude, do you not realize what you're doing here?
Was this like around the time of like when the Brady Bill was like a hot topic?
I think it had to have been. I think so. Like, if I looked into it, probably.
Because,
especially in like New York City and stuff, I feel like...
because like I really feel like the Brady Bill is like Clinton years. And that would have been after the show ended, right?
Yeah, because the show ended in 1991.
But maybe it was like a hot topic. They were like, trying to build it up on like C-SPAN and stuff, like trying to garner attention. Because I don't feel like the Brady Bill was something that just like happened overnight.
No, it didn't. I think it took a while.
It was bubbling on the surface.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember like there was like a time when I was like really young. And I just kept hearing about the Brady Bill, and I was like, is this about the Brady Bunch?
This is, like, before the Brady Bill was even introduced into Congress.
Okay. So, like, maybe there was a lot of pressure to get it going.
Yeah, because, there's, like, this whole thing. It started, like, the whole thing with the Bradys started in the 80s.
Well, obviously, because there was that whole, like, Ronald Reagan was shot by, like, Mark David Chapman. Wasn't, like, Brady the guy who, like, jumped in front of the bullet for him?
I don't even know. Yeah, was press secretary to President Ronald Reagan when both he and the president, along with Secret Service agent Tim McCarthy, were shot by John Hinckley Jr.
Oh, who's Mark David Chapman? Or is that the guy that shot John Lennon, right? I don't remember.
I don't know.
I don't know my assassins too well, I guess. Need to go back to history class.
I only know Lee Harvey Oswald and John Wilkes Booth.
And Sirhan.
So.
All right. Yeah. So if you want to learn more about the Brady Bill and more about gun control.
Don't ask Cat.
Yeah, don't ask Cat. Go to your local library. Support your local libraries. Anyway, so instead of talking about an episode where the nerdy character dresses up like Michael Keaton's Batman, we're gonna actually, it actually has a tie-in to a movie, believe it or not, this episode.
Yes, okay. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to season 2 of Head of the Class, and we're gonna hang with our OG kids.
Yes, the first class.
Okay?
Leslie Bega.
Yes, okay. So here's the deal with Head of the Class. It spanned 5 seasons, and after the 3rd season, several of the characters left, and we got several new ones in their place. And then a year after that, Howard Hessman left, and we got a new teacher.
Yeah.
So we are with our OG crowd, our original IHP kids.
Yes. What does IHP stand for again?
Individual Honors Program.
That's it. I was going to say International Honors Program, but I was close. All right, so what's the premise of Head of the Class before we kind of...
Okay.
Hold on. Do you want to do this night in history first, or do you want to do the premise of Head of the Class? How do you want to do this?
Oh, let's do this night in TV first.
You sitting down for this one? This is a
I am.
This is a middling night of television. So actually, this episode of Head of the Class, which is called Poltergeist 3, which I think came out before the actual Poltergeist 3. I don't even know if there was a Poltergeist 3, to be honest with you.
I think there is. I don't know.
I feel like there is. I feel like there's like a lot of them.
I totally am. Yeah, there is. It came out in 1988.
All right, so it was after this episode, because this episode dropped on November 18th, 1987. It was a Wednesday night. It was a happening night for television. Was it? We'll find out in a minute, because are you ready for this night of television?
Yeah.
Halloween edition? Even though nothing spooky's going on except for this episode. All right. You want to kick off with our boys at the Alphabet ABC, see what's going on over there?
Yeah, what's happening on ABC besides Head of the Class?
All right, things kick off at 8 o'clock with everyone's favorite cousins, Perfect Strangers.
No, we are so happy we do the Dance of Joy!
Yes. Actually, I looked up tonight's episode. It's called Night School Confidential. Mm-hmm. This sounds like an amazing episode of Perfect Strangers. We'll have to do it at some point. Add it to the list, Kat.
Okay.
Balky and Larry go undercover to bust a guy selling cheap counterfeit jewelry at Balky's night school. That's checking off all the boxes. Speaking of checking off all the boxes, we get undercover brothers on the scene. We get night school. We get a counterfeit jewelry ring. This sounds great. You know it's gonna be funny. I can like picture their costumes, like how they're like undercover. Balky's probably fucking up.
I can only imagine this guy is as slimy as the guy from Saved by the Bell and California Dreams.
I'm just kind of picturing like, I don't know why, but I'm just picturing like Greg Evigan in my mind playing this guy for some reason.
Oh my gosh.
Probably like way off, but you never know. All right. Then we hop on over to 8:30. Head of the Class. We'll be with you in a minute, guys. Sit tight. And then I'm excited for ABC 9 o'clock. This is the show. We've talked about it numerous times on the podcast. I'm pretty sure I've never seen it. I'm pretty sure you've never seen it either, but we seem to know a lot about it. Any guesses? Any hot guesses?
China Beach.
No, I wish. Hooperman.
Oh, the John Ritter show.
Yes, he plays a policeman who balances his professional and personal life. And it's like a sitcom, so I guess it's just kind of like wacky things happen to him at work. I don't really know. I don't know. Well,
I don't know. I don't think we have ever come across an episode.
I think you can find the theme song on YouTube and like maybe like a commercial for it, but I don't know. I don't think like a full ep's on there. But I could be wrong. Prove me wrong. You know, let's go to tvarchive.org or archive.org. All right, while you're looking it up, because I see you working your phone over there, you want to take a hot guess of what's on at ABC 9:30? Because it's a show I've never heard of.
Ooh, I have no clue then.
Are you familiar with a show called The Slap Maxwell Story?
The what?
The Slap Maxwell Story.
No. What the fuck? What the fudge?
This sounds wild. This show is a one-season wonder. It had a full season. It starred Dabney Coleman, and he plays a local sports writer for like a local like newspaper somewhere. And he writes these like risque articles that always get some lawsuits because he's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of like Howard Stern if he was a sports writer.
Okay.
I don't know. It just sounds like kind of like a show that I just want to know more about.
Like, I feel like, okay.
Slapshots is the name of his column in this show, by the way. I looked it up.
It sounds like the kind of show we would think we were like going to be super into, and then we were going to forget about after the first episode.
Like, you think it got a lot of buzz? It got a lot of, like, hot buzz. It was, like, a hot topic. It was probably on the cover of TV Guide on, like, their fall preview episode or issue.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there was a lot of ads for it on ABC, like, when you were watching Perfect Strangers leading up to this. But,
yeah,
you know, it probably drew, like, decent numbers for the first couple of weeks. And then people were like, this is kind of fucking boring, and just moved on with their lives.
They're like, the same thing every week. It's
And you know what? Maybe they thought it because it was leading into this 10 o'clock series that it was going to, you know, draw in a huge crowd, but it didn't. You want to take a hot guess what's on at 10 o'clock?
Dynasty?
You got it. You got it. One of the biggest shows of the 80s. I'm sorry. This is probably like we're probably past peak Dynasty here, though. It's probably on the wind down now, right?
I mean, 88, yeah, we're getting towards the end. Like, Crystal has probably lost her memory or whatever.
Moldavian Massacre probably happened this year.
The massacre probably happened at the end of the last season, so now it's like, okay, we got rid of all those characters that weren't doing so hot.
Yeah, so that's ABC. You want to head over to a hot night at CBS?
Oh god, what is happening on CBS on a Wednesday night?
This is a night of hour-longs over at CBS. I'm actually kind of intrigued about this night.
Okay.
We've done one of these shows, but we didn't do the 8 o'clock show. I've actually never heard of it. It's a show, it was a one-season wonder. It was only on for like 14 episodes. It starred Paul Sorvino and D.W. Moffat, who you might know from the Chicago Suns, was the older brother on Chicago Suns.
Oh, okay. I was like, I know this name.
And he played the killer in the movie Lisa.
What is wrong with me?
So this is a show called The Oldest Rookie. Do you know this show?
No.
This actually sounds pretty interesting. I'm kind of curious about this. This is a crime drama about a police veteran with a desk job who, like, I don't know, he's in the last couple of years of his career and he decides he wants to be like a street cop. So he becomes a street cop like his last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And that's why he's the oldest rookie. And they pair him up with D.W. Moffat, who's an actual rookie. So it's just like, two rookies.
Oh, okay.
They have their own beat, maybe? I don't know what they do. Who knows? They're probably, like, really good immediately, I bet.
Oh, okay. For some reason, when you said Paul Sorvino, I was thinking about the kid from The Wonder Years.
No, that's like Josh or something like that, I think.
I don't know why. Because his name was Paul on The Wonder Years.
Oh, Paul Pfeiffer?
That's my brain's making that cross. I was like,
oh, yeah.
What is, like...
No,
what?
Paul Sorvino is kind of like a character actor. He's in, like, Law and Order.
Yeah, no, I know who he is. Like, my brain clicked.
Oh, my God. Like, he would have been, like, 6.
Dude, I'm getting old. This is what you have to look forward to, man. Once you're past 25 like I am.
I still got 2 weeks left of being 39 and gonna live it up.
24. You're only 24, man.
That's right. I'm sorry. We'll bleep that part out. All right. I'm excited for the 9 o'clock hour at CBS. This is a show that we did in our first year of the podcast. Any hot guesses?
Magnum PI.
You got it, girl. Magnum PI tonight. I don't know, maybe it was the Not Married with Children, the Murder She Wrote crossover episode tonight, who knows? It was November, so it's probably a sweeps, something big happening. I didn't look it up.
Yeah.
You ready for CBS 10 o'clock? This is wild.
Yeah, what's happening on CBS at 10?
This is a show that is rebooted. It's actually been rebooted, and it's on the air now. And it was a series of movies as well, and we've talked about it before. I've never actually seen an episode of any of it, or the movie.
Is it the Queen Latifah show?
Yes, The Equalizer.
Okay, I could not remember what it was. I just knew, like, Queen Latifah. That's all I knew.
From my understanding, it's just like a show that it just kind of looks out for the little man. It's kind of like equalizing things, I think. Mm-hmm. Kind of like accepting cases that'll help out, maybe like social justice-y type things.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's my understanding of it anyway. I'm probably way off. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I have no clue, so...
All right, you ready to head over?
Send your tweets to @PatrickMDunn.
Yeah, tell me I'm way off. I don't know. At least the Queen Latifah one looks really social justice-y to me. Yeah. Because I always feel like, I don't know, like I feel like there's just like an old woman who's like in trouble. There's some like teens stealing from her, and she has to go like make things right. I feel like it's that kind of show.
For a second, I thought you were calling Queen Latifah an old woman. I was gonna be like, bitch.
No. You know what I was thinking?
What?
We're like, and I'm actually totally down for this. I don't know about you, but like we're like maybe 15, 20 years away from Queen Latifah being the new Murder, She Wrote.
I don't think we're that far away.
Maybe 10 years then? You think you were 10 years then?
Yeah, I think we're about 10 years.
Would you be down for it? Would you be down to clown with that idea? Because I kind of like that idea.
I would. I could see it.
She plays a retired... I feel like she was a city girl, and then she retires to Cabot Cove, Maine, and she finds, like, all of Jessica Fletcher's, I don't know, like, dossiers, and she kind of, like, sparks...
all her, like, manuscripts?
Yeah, it kind of, like, sparks something in her, and she decides, you know what, I'm actually gonna get out there. I'm gonna go out there and finish what she started.
I'm gonna go solve all the murders that happen in this town still, even though that damn Jessica Fletcher is dead.
Or this is like Queen Latifah kind of like going back and trying to determine if it actually was Jessica Fletcher doing all the crimes. Like she's connecting the dots. She's got a little cork board with the yarn connecting all the thumbtacks together. CBS, when the Equalizer doesn't pan out. There you go. You ready for NBC? You ready to end the night?
Yeah, what's happening on NBC?
It's a night of dramas. A lot of dramas on Wednesday night, except for ABC for some reason. Things kick off with a show that I used to like always see it on, but I never actually sat down and watched a whole episode. Highway to Heaven.
Okay, yeah.
It starred Michael Landon. He plays an angel who's on probation, and he's like wandering the earth, like saving souls or something. I can't remember what it is, what the premise was.
I don't know. It's on Netflix, I think.
It kind of had that like this is like a big thing, in the yesteryears. It was always like kind of like not really like an anthology series, but it was just like one actor and just like different cast members around him every week and just kind of going town to town. Kind of like Incredible Hulk did it. Route 66, Touched by an Angel,
Quantum Leap.
I don't know, I want to say early edition maybe, I don't know, who knows. NBC 9 o'clock. Are you familiar with A Year in the Life?
We've talked about this.
Yes, this is the show. I wasn't sure if we knew it or not, but it sounds vaguely familiar. This started off as a mini-series.
Okay.
And it did really well. So the following year, they turned it into a television series, and it followed like one family and their like a year in their life. That was like the premise of the miniseries. But now it's like every week we get to spend time with these people, and people didn't really care anymore, I guess.
Okay, I could sort of see that, yeah.
And 10 o'clock. This is a show that we're aware of. I've never seen an episode. I don't know about you. It's a medical drama. Any hot guesses?
St. Elsewhere.
You got it. This was a medical drama about an old hospital in Boston. A lot of cast members, a lot of famous cast members. Howie Mandel, Mark Harmon, Denzel, many, many more.
Feeney!
Oh, yeah, Mr. Feeney. I was like, what are you saying over there? So the name St. Elsewhere is a famous term coined by hospitals that they're known to take on patients that are often turned away by the more prestigious hospitals. Mm-hmm. So I think this is like a EMTALA time where like hospitals weren't allowed to turn away people.
Yeah.
So, you know, like when they got turned away from like Mass General, they went over to...
I mean, I don't think a hospital can technically turn you away.
No, they can't anymore. It's like a rule now. But back in the day, not even back in the day, like within our lifetime, you could just like show up at, I don't know, Mass General and they'd be like, get the fuck out of here. He went to Chicago Hope. And they're like, no, dude, you got to go to the ER hospital.
Oh, yeah. You got to go to county.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. And then, I don't know, you got to fucking deal with Juliana Margulies stealing fucking drugs and stuff. Oh, great time. Shout out to the first episode of ER.
She only did that in the pilot to kill herself, and then she survived.
Well, they didn't know she was going to be like a fan fave, so. Mm-hmm. And we loved her, and we still do.
Well, to be fair, though, later on, Carter was stealing drugs.
That is true. That is true. Shout out to ER. And our one-day ER spin-off set the tone. Mm-hmm. Still working on it. Still working on the deets.
It's gonna come someday.
Will it come before our Days of Our Lives spin-off? We'll see. All right. That's that night of television on a scale out of 1 out of 5 equalizing Crime Stoppers. How many equalizing Crime Stoppers would you give this night of television?
It's kind of a...
boring.
There's really not much on.
Yeah, just like... I feel like we get, it's a blend of a lot of, like, all these new shows that never went anywhere, and all these shows that are on the decline.
So it's what, 1988?
87. It's almost 88.
87?
We're a few weeks away.
Oh, we're 6 years old.
Yeah.
We watched some Balky, and then we watched some Head of the Class, and then we were, like, told to go to bed.
I don't even know if I even, like, made it past Balky. I was probably like, you gotta go to bed now. You know, I remember, like, being in kindergarten and, like, hearing kids talk about Perfect Strangers and just being like, oh, like, I was in bed. or maybe I was watching, like, fucking Donna Reed on, like, Nick at Night at the very least.
Yeah, so this is before I had cable.
Oh, the dark times. The dark ages. I love it.
Yeah. This would probably have been, like, watching Perfect Strangers and Head of Class would have been, like, that last, like... My mom trying to get me to go to bed during that time before she finally like was like, go.
Yeah, you're laying on the living room floor with your ponies.
Yeah, my little ponies.
In the commercials, because you weren't paying attention to the commercials, you're playing with the fucking Bush Willies and stuff. Yeah, so, alright. Are you a Head of the Class purist? Did you watch a show, like, in its original run?
Like, I remember watching, because there are
Okay.
really random parts of the show that have lived in my brain for like the last 30-something years.
Okay. All right.
Like, parts that I didn't even realize lived in my brain until I did my binge. And then I was like, oh, I'm not crazy.
I don't know. Like, I feel like I definitely know I've seen this like in its first run, but simultaneously I don't know if I'm confusing it with watching like reruns of Welcome Back, Kotter.
It does have that like still like grungy school look.
Yes, and like a lot of the especially in the early seasons, a lot of the episodes take place like in strictly in the classroom.
Oh, most of the episodes for most of the series take place in the classroom.
Okay, and like occasionally you get like a hallway shot, or you get like Howard Hessman's apartment.
Even smaller than Gabe Cotter's apartment.
Yeah, but it's like I just for some reason the classroom stands out in my mind more than anything. But then like at the same time, I have the same like memory of the classroom from Welcome Back, Kotter. But I also remember like Robin Givens very vividly too for some reason.
Yes.
Like she's like the only one in my mind that I remembered after all these years. Like I couldn't until I watched this like when it first dropped on HBO Max. I was like, I don't remember anyone else on the show. I just remember Robin Givens, who was a star, most successful out of the show.
Oh my god. Like, she is probably the... No, I wouldn't say that.
Dan Schneider.
Fuck Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider can rot in fucking hell.
But technically, I guess he'd be the most successful, right?
I would say Brian Robbins.
Who was he again? I know we talked about this before.
He played Eric.
Oh, yeah.
He has gone on to do... He has written shows, directed shows, produced shows, some of which he did do with Dan Schneider. He wrote and produced some movies, including Varsity Blues.
Oh yeah, we did talk about this pre-pod.
He created Awesomeness TV.
Yes.
And then he is actually now the president of Nickelodeon.
And he took it over from Dan Schneider, who's been ousted because he's a creepy old man.
Well, Dan Schneider was never actually like the president. He was just like the main guy creating shows.
Oh, okay.
Dan Schneider got ousted. Several months later, Brian Robbins was brought in.
And then he very quickly arose the ranks. Now he's like the president of Nickelodeon.
Oh, he didn't even like...
And he's...
Like, they brought him in to be president of Nickelodeon.
Oh, shit, he just fucking jumped hurdles then. They were like, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what?
Like, he was doing all kinds of stuff. Like, diving into his IMDb is kind of interesting. Robin Givens is interesting because she's got a lot of, like, these really random bit parts on, like, these ridiculous TV shows.
I feel like she still makes the rounds, though. Like, I feel like she still, like, pops up.
Oh, she does. She just had a show a couple summers ago called Ambitions.
That's right, yeah.
Where she was the lead.
Yeah.
She was one of the moms on Riverdale.
Yeah.
So she's still doing stuff. She'll do, like, okay, this is what I'm going to... She does not, like, say no, probably, to most roles. If you want her in that crazy, like, Lifetime movie, she'll do it. You want her in the crazy, like, Christian Channel movie, she'll do it.
Ion TV is looking for someone to play, I don't know, Cody Calafiori's girlfriend's mom. She'll do it.
Exactly. Like, she's like, you got a role for me? I will go do it.
Which is interesting to say. So, I have a hot question for you, kind of going back to Brian Robbins and Dan Schneider.
Okay.
Do you think that Nickelodeon brought in Brian Robbins as like a big like fuck you to Dan Schneider because they were both on Head of the Class together? Like, this is like, you know what?
Okay.
This is a great slap in the face move.
So here's the situation. Okay, as from what I understand from the research I have done. Okay.
I was at the library all day doing research on this.
When Dan Schneider created all that, Brian Robbins also created all that. They created all that together.
Okay. Ooh, I did not know that.
Yes, they created all that. The Amanda Show, Kenan and Kel together.
Ooh, that's a good run.
Okay.
That's a good run of like success right there too.
And they had the dude who plays Arvid on like Kenan and Kel and maybe like all that or something. That's totally like the era of Nickelodeon where I stopped watching.
You know what? They kept it in the family though. I'll give them props for that. You know what? They kept their circle tight. They came up together in the business. Maybe the business shat all over them, but you know what? They had the last laugh because they created all that. The Amanda Show and Kenan and Kel and Good Burger. I'm sure Good Burger was in there too.
So there is a point though where Dan Schneider sticks with Nickelodeon. Excuse me. He does like Drake and Josh, iCarly, Zoe 101, all that, and like a bunch of other stuff I can't even tell you what it is.
The Naked Brothers Band, maybe something like that.
Yeah, maybe actually. Brian Robbins goes and he creates What I Like About You with Amanda Bynes and Jenny Garth.
Nick Zano.
And some other shows and movies, and like he does all kinds of stuff before getting into digital media with Awesomeness TV, before bringing it all right back around and becoming the president of Nickelodeon.
So it's like it's a big circle, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Good. You know what? And he stole Amanda Bynes away from Nickelodeon, brought her over to the WB, snatched up the hottest star of the '90s, Jenny Garth, teamed him up, made him a mom-daughter duo. Were they sisters? I can't remember what the fuck they were.
They were sisters, dude.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, because Jenny Garth would have been like 22 at the time. Older than that, but you know what I mean. The mom was out of the picture. I think that was it. Right? Yeah, she was gone.
Yeah. The parents were both out of the picture.
They were living in a high-rise together.
Yeah.
They were living in like the probably the same apartment that fucking Don Draper had. That he had with Megan.
But yeah, so Brian Robbins kind of goes and he does like a bunch of like wild different things. And Dan Schneider sticks with Nickelodeon, kid shows, and wreaking havoc on their young stars.
Disgraceful.
Allegedly.
Yeah, fuck him. You know what?
But probably most likely a piece of shit.
Playing the role of Dennis today is going to be an inflatable raft. We're going to recast him. Call back to our Saved by the Bell the College Years episode, which we replaced Screech with a beach ball. But we have unbeach-balled Screech.
Yeah, we did for the Alien episode of Saved by the Bell.
Okay, but we did make Slater a surfboard, though, right? He's now officially a surfboard.
Yeah, so they kind of diverged, and then Schneider got kicked out of Nickelodeon because there were finally enough rumblings and people starting to speak up about what he was doing.
Yeah, shout out to the stars of Nickelodeon coming forward.
Nickelodeon was like, we gotta get you gotta go. And then a few months later, they brought Brian Robbins in as the head of the company.
Now he's doing magic. He's doing wonders for Nickelodeon.
I have no idea what's even on Nickelodeon these days.
I have no idea either.
In all honesty,
just go with
my
it.
nephew doesn't watch Nickelodeon.
I feel like we're getting. I feel like we're getting like hot reboots of all the stuff we used to love. Like I feel like there's like a new Double Dare maybe.
Oh, there is with some YouTuber as the host, but Mark Summers is like a creative executive director or something.
You know what? Follow us on Patreon. We're gonna do a hot Nickelodeon, old timey Nickelodeon batch of episodes on there. If you want to hear us talk about Mark Summers and Guts and Hidden Temple of whatever the fuck it was called.
I don't even know. I never watched that one.
All right. So head of the class. You know what? It's like 4 hours into this episode. We have yet to talk about
head of the class.
Janice. So
okay, we're in season 2. This is a Janice episode. We're still early enough where the episodes are kind of spread out evenly-ish among the different kids, where they all kind of get like something. There's a few that still haven't gotten much at this point, like Jawar and Maria, even Darlene. Like Robin Givens does not really get like a Darlene-centric focused episode very often.
I feel like there's because I watched like the first like 8 episodes of season 1. And I feel like we get like a Darlene episode, like episode 6 maybe, but that was it, and it wasn't even that good, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like you get a Darlene episode, and if you do get a Darlene episode throughout most of the series, it's a Darlene and Sarah.
Oh yeah, they paired up. But I will say, like, out of all, like, even though they don't like use her wisely, I feel like she's kind of like the one to watch. Whenever she like comes on screen, she has a presence to her, and you're just captivated by it. Like she's good with the little material they give her with. Same thing with Leslie Bega too. Like there's just something about Leslie Bega that's just great.
Maria was one of my favorites of this whole series.
You know what, Leslie Bega? I don't know what you're doing right now, but come back. You know what? Tweet us. Tell us what it was like being on the show. Maybe tell us like how much of a shitty person Dan Schneider is. Would appreciate it. And you know what? His character Dennis even sucks too. Like he's not even like a good character.
Oh, Dennis.
And he's like a focal point of so many episodes.
Between Dennis and Arvid, there is a point, especially season 4 of the show, that it becomes so difficult to watch. Because like almost every single episode focuses on them.
Like another one?
In some way. And it's like, oh my god, not another one. Like, Can we really watch Dennis be an asshole to Arvid again?
So, like, here's the thing with Arvid. I really liked him at first, but, like, 4 episodes in, I was just, like, tired of Arvid.
Yeah.
I could see him like going like the Urkel route where like everyone thought he was like fun and whatever, and then just kind of turned sour, like sour milk, really quickly.
Yeah, like by season 4, they really like get this weird hyper fixation on Dennis and Arvid for a good chunk of time, and it's like, oh my god, just no, stop.
Well, you know what?
I'm begging you, no more.
Maybe they'll recorrect their wrongs in the reboot coming to HBO Max very soon.
I'm excited.
Yes, aren't we all?
I heard Robin Givens is going to be on it for sure. So.
Oh fuck yeah! I hope she plays the like the secretary role.
Like no, she's supposed to be playing Darlene.
Is like Darlene the secretary in it?
I doubt that.
Or is she gonna go the Lisa Turtle route and be like a fashion model in Paris who just calls in through Skype every now and then?
I don't even know because it's supposed to take place at a totally different school. Well, to be fair, Fillmore High gets like demolished in the end.
You know what? Make it a virtual school. Let's have it take place in COVID times. They're all on Zoom.
Okay, so this episode actually starts in Principal Dr. Samuel's office.
Yes.
And he calls Janice in.
We have to describe who Janice is, by the way. So I don't think
Janice is 11 years old. She is a genius.
A prodigy, a child prodigy.
Like, she's a young Sheldon, a Doogie Howser type.
You know what? I could picture her and Doogie Howser going to college together for some reason. I don't know why. Like,
it's close. It's close.
You know what? Do you think
their parents were probably in the same support group?
Do you think David E. Kelly saw Janice on Head of the Class and was like, I have an idea. I have a fucking great idea.
I don't know. I just know there's a new Doogie on Disney Plus, and I can't decide if I like it or not.
It's not checking the boxes quite yet. You're like hesitant.
There are parts that work, and then there's like parts that are just too like much like the original that I'm like, come on, guys.
Well, it was like, can lightning strike twice kind of thing going on.
I mean, did she really have to have a best friend who climbs in through her window?
That would be like if they did like it was like instead of Clarissa Explains It All, it was like Kendall Explains It All, and they just did like the whole premise exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Whatevs. All right, so Janice is like our child prodigy. She's like the 11-year-old in high school. She has photographic memory. They all kind of like, they look up to her, but they also kind of like look down at her because she's a child, basically.
She is younger. There was an episode in the previous season where she really wasn't feeling like she fit in, and she tried to throw a party. And it was really awkward because she's like, here are some Smurf cups and rat noses. And Mr. Moore's like, you got to remember, your classmates are older.
Yeah, they're 16-year-olds played by probably 24-years-olds.
If not older.
I feel like the Brian Robbins guy is probably like 24 in real life at this point.
He was not. He was definitely on the older side. He wasn't that old, though.
Okay. I mean, he looks older than me now. I mean, like, he looks older than I look now in 1987. So.
I mean, not everybody has the skincare we have now, Patrick.
That is true. I was going to make a joke that Howard Hessman's probably the same age we are right now in the first episode of Head of the Class. But I'm pretty sure I'm way off.
I don't think
he's probably like 10 years older than we are right now. Are you looking it up? How old was Howard Hessman in 1986?
Yeah. He's 81 years old now.
So subtract 35, because on the night of this recording, Head of the Class premiered 35 years ago.
Okay, that is not the right number.
You can't do.
No, I had other stuff in here. Okay, he was 46, so he is 6 years.
He looks hella fucking older.
I know. Okay, we've been through this. Okay, but to be fair, not everybody looks as young as we do, even now at our age.
That is true. All right,
Trust me, I am on the dating apps. I have seen what men our age look like. And there are times I'm like, why do you say you're 35 and you look 50?
No! Do you put the maximum age a little bit lower so you can kind of pair up with someone who look appropriate? Oh, she's not saying anything, but she made an eye wink.
I'm not going to say what the lowest age is. Listen, I'm a cougar now.
Well, isn't it Isn't it you have to say you're 5 years younger and then you go 10 years younger? Is that the official?
Oh, well, then I obviously being truthful about my age isn't gonna do much.
All right. I have a question for you before we go any further. Between season 1 and season 2 of Head of the Class, did Howard Hessman grow a mustache? Or did I just imagine that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. When I was watching this, I was like, wait.
Okay, he grew a mustache, and he had a rat tail, like the first season.
In the first episode, yeah.
And, like the first season, like it's there, but it's not there. And I actually spent a lot of time just trying to figure out what the fuck was going on with his hair. Like, a lot of time. Like, I'm uncomfortable with the amount of time I spent, like, does he have it still? And then I realized it has become a ponytail.
You know what? He was the old age of 45 or 46, whatever we decided on. He was going through a fucking end-of-life crisis, and he just had to make a change, make a drastic change. All right, yeah, so Janice... the episode starts, she's in the doctor, whatever his fucking name, the prince,
Dr. Samuels.
Dr. Samuel's office, and he's like, it seemed like she got called to the principal's office quite a bit.
No, not really. Okay, so, Dr. Samuels is very proud of the IHP program. It is like
it's his bread and butter.
It's like his program, he created at the school. He is very proud of the students because the majority of the students in the class are on an academic bowl team where they compete against other honors programs in basically trivia contests.
Yeah, they really get into it in the very first episode of the series if you want like the background on it.
Yeah.
It kind of goes in like they're not allowed to have like an actual teacher. This is just like their time to just study for these like trivia bowls. And the teacher is just there as like a babysitter.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm actually going to teach you guys.
Yeah, and Howard Hessman comes in as Mr. Moore, and he's like actually going to challenge the guys. But he like, instead of just like teaching them facts, he always teaches them life lessons and stuff.
Yes, okay, I have this crazy theory, and I need you to just let me get this out.
I'm going to pour another glass of wine while you're doing it.
Because you're going to roll your eyes at me.
All right.
You're going to roll your eyes at me. Okay, so Head of the Class takes place in New York City. We are led to believe that Mr. Moore leaves teaching to be a full-time actor. I'm going to guess once that run of Death of a Salesman was done, he went back to teaching in New York City until he got another role. Now, there's something I noticed about Mr. Moore's style. It is very much the anti-Feeney.
All right, yeah.
Now, we know that Corey Matthews becomes a history teacher in New York City. Where did he finish college? New York City. Where would he have done his student teaching?
New York City.
Who do I think was the teacher he student taught under? Mr. Moore.
You think that Corey Matthews taught under Mr. Moore?
That Mr. Moore was his, teacher he was paired up with for student teaching.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
Is it making sense?
Yeah, it's clicking. I think that it's clicking. I like this theory. You know what? The two worlds collide.
Okay, but then it gets weirder because I'm pretty sure it's the same set with just a few slight adjustments between the Classroom on Girl Meets World Season 1 and 2 and the Head of the Class classroom.
Oh, you think they dusted off the old Head of the Class set and just redecorated it?
Coated it with some nice bright paint?
Yep, just, I don't know, threw some new paint, maybe put some new style desks and got a marker board instead of a chalkboard. And
well, Corey still had a chalkboard.
Okay, I never really watched Girl Meets World, so.
But the area where Dennis sat, it's kind of it's closed off, and the door comes in at an angle instead of straight on.
Oh, okay.
But the windows are the same. The map on the side area, the chalkboard, the door, the boards in the back.
Ooh.
It was so similar. I was like, I think I'm losing my mind. But then I was watching some Girl Meets World the other night because I didn't know what else to watch, and I was like, nope, it's the same damn classroom with just a few adjustments.
You should post a side by side, like a little scroll post. Mm-hmm. So we can look at the two. On Instagram, you swipe your finger and look at the two. Spot the differences. It'll be like one of those highlighters magazine things.
Well, both classrooms have windows in the same spot.
Ooh.
The windows are very important to this episode.
Very eagle eyes Cat Hulset over there, connecting the dots between the Boy Meets World universe and the Head of the Class universe.
I mean,
who knows what, maybe Corey Matthews will show up in the reboot of Head of the Class, who knows? Maybe Topanga will be there.
But no, it made sense to me because there's some very similar teacher styles between Corey and Mr. Moore, more so than Corey and Mr. Turner or Corey and Mr. Feeney.
Did you look up like writers between the series?
I tried to. I couldn't find a connection. I wasn't finding it, but I'm just like, there has to be something. There's something there.
For all our AVSP sleuthers out there, if you can connect the dots, connect the strings of yarn with your corkboard, let us know. Get back to us. Katie Pats. All right. So Janice comes into the, I don't even know, is that where we are?
Principal's office, and he's like, he has obviously talked to her parents already, and they are concerned because Janice has decided that she is not alone. There is a spirit with her, and it's a poltergeist.
Yes, which I guess Poltergeist 2 must have just recently come out, so it's like in the zeitgeist right now.
So here's the thing about Janice. She loves horror movies and scary stuffs. But, because there are times throughout earlier episodes up to this point where there's like, if it's got like a horror movie kind of attached to the name in some way, shape, or form, it's a Janice episode. Dr. Samuels is like, hey, are you okay? She's like, oh, my parents called you. They told you about my friend. And Dr. Samuels is like, there's no such thing as ghosts. She's like, I thought that until I had one. And Dr. Samuels is kind of like freaking out a little bit, like internally, because Janice is the super genius. And if she believes there's a ghost or a poltergeist or something, maybe there really is. And then he like picks up a pen and it's covered in honey and he starts freaking out.
This part creeped me out. So Janice leaves Dr. Samuel's office. She walks out and she goes back to class or whatever. And then he picks up his pencil or whatever, and it's all sticky. And then the first thing he does is he licks his fingers.
Like, why? Why is that the first thing you do?
I was just like, are you kidding? Like, wouldn't you smell it first at least? Like, what?
Or like, yeah, I would smell it and be like...
And then
I get out my alcohol wipes and start trying to wipe my hands.
I would not lick my fingers. I don't know. Maybe this is way before COVID.
Oh yeah,
but not even that. Like, who knows? It could be like a rat turd. We don't know what it is. Like
you don't know what's making your pencil or pen sticky.
And
he tries to find out if Dennis has been around because Dennis is the practical joker, and everybody's like, no, but nobody's seen Dennis. So Dr. Samuels is like, oh crap. But we do see Dennis kind of he's been hiding in the closet. And he moves around well enough that nobody realizes he's been in the office. And he sneaks up on this mirror. He's like, hey, I heard Dr. Samuels was looking for me.
Yeah, and I'll bring this up. Don't forget to ask me, because when I watched this episode, I was like, there's two things going on in this episode. Mm-hmm. This is either going to be a Dennis is the poltergeist all along episode, or Janice's parents are getting divorced. It's one of those two. And we'll find out at the end. We'll find out. Because I was right about one of them.
I would like to note that Dennis did overhear Janice say she's got a poltergeist. And one of Dennis's favorite things early on in the series is to mess with Janice. Which just makes Dan Schneider even creepier.
Totally. You know what? I anytime he pops up on the screen and I see his fucking ugly ass face, I'm just like, ugh.
Right? Ugh.
Just wish you could just turn into an inflatable raft right now. Can we CGI somebody? Who can we CGI into the show?
Ugh. I don't even know.
I don't know. There's who else was big around this time that we could just make a cartoon character?
I don't even know. Balky? Let's just put Balky in instead.
Yeah, just fucking CGI Balky's face in there, and he just reads all fucking Dennis's lines. Mm-hmm. Don't be ridiculous.
Don't be ridiculous. So
yeah, we're at the class. We're back at the classroom now.
We're back in class, and
they're talking about Canada for some reason. It's a Canada Day, Canada Week at school.
Yeah, they're talking about some Canadian history and stuff. And Dennis.
Oh, hold on. Before I get there, I have a question
Okay.
of like this like curriculum in the school. There seems to be like no set curriculum, so it's just like one week they're talking about like Canada, and then like in another episode, like it's just like all over the place. It's like this, whatever they're learning about.
Again, why I think Mr. Moore was Corey Matthews' mentor.
Like there's no like logistic order to it. It's like one episode it's like the Cuban Missile Crisis, the next week it's like Canadian history, and you're like, is there an order?
Like even when we get the other teacher, he's all over the place too.
Like there's no like, all right, so let's say you got to like learn history, like you don't start from like, I don't know, like Mesopotamia.
You don't start at World War II. You go like as far back. Like if you're doing U.S. history, you go to like the discovery of America and
yeah, I don't know, because I just feel like the very first episode they're talking about like the Bay of Pigs or something. Then it's like the next week it's like something else like further back in time, and I'm like, is there no fucking order to this?
Yeah, they're just bouncing around to whatever
the writer wants to talk
book
about.
Mr. Moore picked up at the library this week.
Whatever theme they can connect it to.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like they always try to tie in like their dilemma to like whatever like the lesson is that the teacher's teaching this week.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, so we're back at the class.
You know, so Mr. Moore's trying to like teach the class, and like somehow they end up talking about ghosts.
Oh, because Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was a brilliant man, and he saw ghosts. And, like, I don't know, like Alexander Graham Bell was visited by ghosts. And they just kept talking about people. Oh, and it was the Prime Minister of Canada.
Yeah, the Prime Minister of Canada would sit on a bench and talk with his mother. And everybody's like, oh, did she give good advice? And he's like, she was dead. And Dennis, like, starts prodding Janice, which really is the dumbest thing this idiot can do, but whatever.
Yeah, because he's like, well, you know what? Someone in this classroom of ours can also see ghosts. And they're like, who? And he's like, oh, Janice.
She's so upset.
All eyes are on her, and she just has to be like, yeah, like, I have a poltergeist. He, you know, smashes things and breaks things. And
yeah, she, like, tells them it started smashing things in her room the other night, yada, yada. And they're like, oh, my gosh, Janice, that's so scary. Like, they don't really believe her. But then, like, the map on the wall just flies up.
Does it? I feel like that happens like a little bit later, though.
Or maybe it might be a little bit later.
Janice does like you know what? This earlier on, she does a weird thing where she just like she's in the middle of talking and she stops and she gives like a blank stare for a second and she starts speaking in like some other language or something for a minute.
Like she's answering a question, like they've let it go for now, and then she's answering a question, then she starts speaking in tongues, and then back to normal. And everybody's staring at her, and she's like, "What?
What were you just saying?" She's like, "I was just talking about Canada, the Canadian border, how it's the largest border in like North America." And they were like, well, what did you say before that? And she was like, oh, was it the poltergeist? Oh, that poltergeist is always up to tricks.
Yeah.
And oh, wait, no, hold on, we're way off. We're way off. She gets up because she knows the bell is about to ring. So she stands up and she stands still for a minute. She's like, if you listen very closely, he's going to talk to you in 3, 2, 1, and the bell rings and they all jump. That's what happens. The speaking in tongues happens next, like in the next segment. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So,
okay, yeah.
Class lets out, and I feel like Mr. Moore and Janice have like a little like tit for tat.
Like he's trying to figure out what's going on. You know, it's just he knows there's something else. This is back where Mr. Moore still gives a damn. Because by the time we hit season 4, he's so over dealing with these kids and their lives. Especially Dennis and Arvid.
He's hitting the fucking bar every night. Yeah, so he just kind of has like a one-on-one talk with her, and Janice is just kind of like spilling like the normal stuff that she's been telling everyone else. Like, oh yeah, Poltergeist follows me around.
Yeah, like she's not really divulging enough to him. Like he knows there's more. But she's smart enough to not say it to him right now.
All right, so we cut to like, it's the next day, I guess, or later on in the day. It's sometime later.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're like back at the principal's office. Dr. Samuels wants Mr. Moore to like be an exorcist for some reason now. It's like, we can't have our star student out here going around saying that she's being visited by a poltergeist. We need to do something about it. We need to intervene. Mr. Moore, how do you feel about being an exorcist? And he's like, no, I'm not doing this. He's like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's like, you're being ridiculous.
He's like, there's more to this. I'm going to figure it out. You know what? I'm a smart man. I'm a smart guy. You know what? I was in a really supernatural play like a couple of years ago. I might try trying to remember how this ended. So he's like, you know what, just give me like a day or two to figure this out, and then I'll be your exorcist. So just sit tight, relax, have a smoke, have a drink. And he goes back to the classroom. That's when we get the whole like speaking in tongues incident.
And
then
the map flying up.
The map rolls up, and the globe. There's a little globe like sitting on like a desk, and it explodes. And there's like a weird message on the computer pops up. It says like "I'm here."
No, the message pops up like later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the message pops up later because they're like, okay, the rest of the class afterwards are like, okay, Janice is doing this somehow, and they're like, maybe she just, like, had the map stuck to the wall with bubble gum or something. Like, they're like, no, she's smarter than that. She did something else. And they're like, maybe she used a slick shot to, like, break the globe. They're like, no, or supersonic sound or something. They're, like, overthinking it.
There's, like, a point, though, where, like, they try to catch Janice.
They all start watching her in class.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're all like, all right, you know what, we're going to keep our eyes on her. So they're all, like, watching her, Hawkeye, Eagle Eye, like, all eyes are on Janice. And while they're all watching her, all of a sudden, like, a message pops up on the computer monitor. It's, like, the old-timey giant computer.
Yeah.
And it's that black background screen with, like, the white graphical-looking text.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, old school, like, before Doogie Howser's blue screen.
Yeah, and it says, like, I am here, I am watching you, or something to that effect. And is it Arvid? He's like, you know what, I feel like someone hacked into the computer. I can go into the mainframe.
Yeah, they're like, we could go find, like, the data entry or something, and
he doesn't see a program running in the background. This is the only thing that's not explained in the episode, by the way. So, then we come to, it's the next day after that, and this is where, like, now it's like, all right, we gotta, Mr. Moore comes in with a TV, and he's like, we're gonna watch a movie about Canada today. And they're all excited because they get to, you know, the AV Club cart rolled in, and they're kind of doing the same thing now, where they're getting ready to watch it, and then Janice pretends to be like a ghost again, or possessed or whatever.
Like, Janice is sitting there, just, like, got her, like, binder on her lap, paying attention to Mr. Moore while he's, like, doing his little lecture, and the lights go out.
Then this, like, strobe light effect happens.
Yeah, and then, like, the windows get broken.
It's pretty wild. And then the lights come back on. The lights, like, just flash back on.
Janice is sitting there, like, terrified.
And Mr. Moore, he dismisses all the students except for Janice. He tells them to come back in 10 minutes.
Yeah, he gives them all hall passes. I would like to point out that Dennis took the entire pack of hall passes with him.
Oh, so he was, like, hoarding them for later?
Yeah, totally. 100%.
Is this a callback to, like, a future episode? Like, maybe next episode?
I mean, Dennis is always in detention.
He kind of gives Janice, like, ample opportunity to confess, and she's still, like, adamant that she's visited by a poltergeist, and then Mr. Moore pulls out, like, a fucking... He hits play on the AV cart, and he's like, smile, you're on candid camera.
Yeah, he, like, rewinds the video and presses play, because he just recorded what happened in class. And it's, like, just a camera straight on Janice. And she's got, like, some kind of device to make the strobe lights go.
Like a remote of some sort.
And a slingshot to break the windows. And then Mr. Moore's like, the one thing I can't figure out, Janice, is how you turned off the lights.
And she's like, a $5 bill.
A folded up $5 bill. And he's like,
huh?
She's like, I paid your Warhol.
Who just shut the lights off? Like, he's in on it.
He just, like, went up to sharpen his pencil and then shut the lights off. But everybody was so busy watching Janice.
They didn't pay attention to him. Yeah, so then we get to this, like, whole, the meat and bones of the episode now. It's, like, the heart-to-heart moment, and it's like, all right, why are you doing this? And she's like, oh, well, you know, I heard my mom and dad fighting, and, you know, they're always arguing with each other lately. And I just was upset. So I, like, threw my lamp at the wall, and they came in and, like, why is your lamp broken? And I didn't want them to know that I heard them fight, so I said it was the ghost. And then, you know, they called the school. Well, they called Dr. Samuels. Dennis overheard. So now he told the whole class, so I just, like, kept the ruse up. Like, you know what, I'm fucking fully committed to this.
She's like, I'm 11 years old. Come on, man. And he's like, well, I'm gonna have, you know... you broke the window, that's going to cost money, we're going to have to turn you in.
All right, well, can you just, like, I know you're going to talk to my parents about it. Can you just, like, keep up the ruse with the kids? Just,
Yeah.
but he doesn't answer. Like, he just doesn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
He just folds up he just pushes the cart, the little AV cart, out the door. And
Off to the side.
yeah, and the kids come in.
And he puts the video cassette back in his desk. He's like, there is no video.
And the kids are like, what happened? And he's like, oh, I performed an exorcist.
Come on, guys. Really? You guys are honor students. And they don't question this.
No, like, they're just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, that sounds fun. And they're like, so Janice is, like, free from a poltergeist? This is now a poltergeist-free zone. But she's still on probation, though, for breaking the window, because technically she did it.
Yeah. There's a moment where at Warhol you can see him tensing up.
Yeah, but he got off scot-free, though.
Like, he's gonna get, like, ratted out.
Unless he got in trouble, like, in the background. Like, maybe he had to write an essay or something.
I don't think so, because he was kind of like, he's just like the hired hand, as far as Mr. Moore knew.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, I mean, I guess all he maybe knew was, hey...
Janice wants you to here's $5, turn off the lights.
Yeah, it's not like he knew she was gonna fucking shoot a slingshot through the window.
Yeah, he definitely didn't know that, because you could see the look on his face.
The class thinks that Janice is now poltergeist-free. It's, I don't know, like later that afternoon now. We're in the hallways.
And her and Dennis both have detention. And Dennis is trying to be a prick and get her to do all the mopping.
Yeah, which is kind of a dick. Like, so when you're in detention, you have to mop the floors.
Yes, so I don't know. Detention's different at different schools.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems kind of like pretty shitty. Like, I don't know, to me for some reason. Definitely would not happen.
Yeah,
now.
definitely not today. But Dennis is like, I'm going to sit here with my portable little TV.
Yeah, with the giant antenna that comes off, the little Watchman, the Sony Watchman.
Yeah, I'm going to just watch TV. You're going to do all the mopping. This bottle of, like...
bleach or something.
Floor cleaner, like, just flies down in front of Dennis from, like, above, and he's just like, Janice is like, do you really want to mess with this? She takes the TV, she goes, sits down. Dennis starts, like, getting the mop, and you see Warhol take a couple steps down, give Janice a thumbs up, and then take a couple steps back up.
Yes, Janice gets her comeuppance. You know what? Good for her. Good for Janice. And fuck Dennis.
Dennis can rot in hell.
Yeah, and I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's dead in the show. You know what? I hope when the new head of the class comes back, like the first episode is like they're all at Dennis's funeral.
Well, okay, so it's going to be a new group of kids in an honors class at a high school. I haven't been able to piece together how, like, anybody from the past really connects. I'm just believing that Darlene has to be one of the kids' parents.
Oh, okay. But I hope we get, like, a throwaway line, like, you know, Dennis died 5 years ago or something. Or he's in jail.
He never graduated MIT.
Yeah, you know what? He got, like, he plagiarized something.
Well, to be fair, he did steal work from Arvid all the time.
Okay, well, you know what? It finally caught up to him. You know what? Maybe like, when he was getting his doctorate, it was when turnitin.com came out, and that's how he got caught.
Probably. So, yeah, it's a simple little episode. It's got the spookiness.
Yeah, you know what? I thought it was kind of like a fun little romp through Head of the Class. Like, it definitely not like a memorable episode of Head of the Class, but like fun nonetheless. Like, as I said at the top of the hour, I was like, this is either going to be Dennis is playing pranks all along, or it's going to be Janice's parents are getting divorced. And I was like, whoa, I was right. I was like, I fucking called that.
Well, to be fair, her parents actually don't get divorced. They're just going through a period of arguing. But same thing.
I mean, but I was pretty close, though. I was like, this is like her acting out, like at her parents getting divorced. I don't know. I feel like this is like a similar plot in some other show that came out. That's what made me like connect these dots, because I was like, one of the two things is happening. So it's either like Dennis is the ghost and Janice doesn't realize it, or Janice's parents get divorced. And I was right. So I was like, yes, go me for. And like, I'm pretty sure I've never seen this episode. So, or maybe I have, and I'm just like,
it's just in your subconscious for 33 years, 34 years.
Yeah, it just crept out from like the last time I watched a show on like USA. At 3 p.m. in like 94 probably.
Yeah.
Because it was definitely on USA Network at some point in time. I can tell you that.
It was.
Alright, any other like hot memories, any hot thoughts, anything on Head of the Class? Anything we left out? Except that we love Leslie Bega and Robin Givens.
Oh, I do have. There is a connection to Girl Meets World.
Okay.
There's like an actual legitimate connection. Tony O'Dell, who plays Alan Picard, the conservative young man.
Like the typical nerdy type kid.
Yeah. Well, no, not your typical nerdy. Like your
Preppy. That's what I'm thinking.
preppy. Yes, your preppy guy. Your Alex P. Keaton-esque young man.
Like the handsome nerd, I think, is what
Yes.
like they were going for with him. Like,
who's also a conservative Ronald Reagan fan.
okay.
Tony O'Dell actually was an acting coach on the first season of Girl Meets World.
Ooh.
So I found that out last night during my deep dive into everybody's careers.
Yeah. Oh, you were doing a deep dive. A little.
I couldn't sleep. I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning. And I was like, I might as well just like see what I can find out, like other stuff. I mean, he's also on Cobra Kai. He is probably one of the few who has like really stayed within the industry, like steadily in some way. Not as big of a name as like Brian or Dan,
Just kind of like
but
working, hustling, just kind of like hustling his way through Hollywood.
yeah, like he's still like, even if he's not in front of the camera, he is still like working in some capacity in the industry.
What's the guy's name? Tony O'Dell? Tony O'Dell? All right, you want to do the Tony O'Dell like hot fucking run through IMDb right now?
Okay.
All right, acting coach on Sydney to the Max, a TV series from 2019 to 2020. I have no idea what that is. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul, acting coach. Zapped, the TV movie from 2014, not the one that we know with Scott Baio.
Oh no, this one's like a Disney Channel one, I think.
Yeah, he was a dialogue coach on the George Lopez TV show from 02 to 07. Remember when Emeril Lagasse had a TV show on NBC, I think it was, very briefly? He was a dialogue coach on there.
Was that in the late 90s?
2000 to 2001. So close enough.
Okay. No, that's not the one I was thinking. Okay. It was the Nathan Lane show I heard the dude on the plane talking about.
Oh, okay.
It was like some network executive talking about like some show, and he's like, Nathan Lane, it's not very good. It's not going to last very long. It was like 2 weeks before everything premiered.
Yeah, and it didn't. The Nathan Lane show did not last. Yeah, so he was Jimmy on Cobra Kai. That was his most recent acting credit.
Mm-hmm.
But he did appear on the George Lopez show. He played a delivery guy on a 2002 episode, and then he played Patrick on a 2003 episode of the George Lopez show. He's on an episode of Suddenly Susan. He was in Murder, She Wrote, and then obviously we know him from the Karate Kid Part 2 as Jimmy, and Karate Kid Part 1. I don't think he popped up in Karate Kid 3, though. No, he did not. Okay, and then he was in a lot of ABC weekend specials. He did voice work on the Scooby and Scrappy-Doo Puppy Hour. 8 is Enough, Scooby and Scrappy-Doo the TV series, and he made his acting debut on an episode of Chips in 1978, playing teenager. What a career. Tony O'Dell, fun guy, born in 1960 in Pasadena, California. Still out there, still hustling and bustling.
He still lives in the house he bought during season 2 of Head of the Class.
Good to know. You know what? I'd like to see that house.
So he's still in the industry. The young lady who plays Janice is actually now a casting director.
Okay.
Some of the others are still acting. They just don't get roles very often.
What about Miss Mira, who plays the little secretary?
She's in all kinds of stuff. She does not even really get a storyline on the show until season 5.
Oh, she was on the Heathers TV series that I don't think ever came out.
I think it did come out, we just didn't see it because it was on like that Paramount channel or something.
Oh, that didn't really exist anywhere.
I think I actually have it on my stepmom's cable.
Dan Frischman? Where's Dan? Who played Arvid? Where's he been?
He's been in some Schneider stuff.
He hasn't acted since 2010, though.
Yeah.
He done. He's out. He's gone. He's retired. All right. I'm going to ask the age-old question. I'm very curious. On a scale of 1 out of 5 exploding globes, how many exploding globes would you give this episode of Head of the Class? Poltergeist 3 from 1987. Curious now. We're going to get a rare cat 5. We're going to get a middling.
It's not a 5.
I'm going to throw that out there. It's not a 5. Not a 5.
I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to go with the same score.
It's a good, solid episode of Head of the Class.
Yeah. I mean, no complaints.
It's a fun little episode. Like, you could watch this alone and you're okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. You know what? It went by fast. It wasn't, like, annoying. I didn't have, like, a moment of where I was just looking at the clock saying there's fucking 6 minutes left of this.
But it's not a great episode.
I'm going to say, you know what, like, made this episode stand out for me was that it kept me on my toes. Because I was just trying to figure out what was going on. Because, like, I'm going to assume, I'm like, you know what, by the end of the episode, we know there's not going to be a poltergeist. I was trying to figure out what was happening. So I was like, it's either Dan Schneider's character playing pranks or Janice's parents are getting divorced. And I was like, it's one of those two. It's nothing else. And I was just trying to connect the dots. So it was like a fun mystery to me. It was a mystery to solve for me. That's why I liked it.
Yeah, it's a fun little episode.
Yeah, it was great.
It gets you that spooky element.
Yeah.
It's a little, in a way, kind of like the Boy Meets World episode we did, where they're trapped in the school.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's not actually a Halloween episode, but it has the elements to go into that category.
Yeah, I'm guessing, like, where Poltergeist 2 mania has swept the nation, and, you know, horror movies were big in the 80s. All the slasher films, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th, sequels and stuff. So, like, we're in that world, and Head of the Class is kind of, like, capitalized on that. Let's do a scary episode. So we got to see that. And I'm sure it was fun. I'm sure people, like, I couldn't find any reviews of the episode because I looked. I wanted to know.
I have looked for anything online I can regarding Head of the Class. There really, truly is not that much. There are some old abandoned message boards from like the late 90s, early 2000s. There's not even any fan fiction about this show, because trust me, I went looking for some Eric and Simone fanfic.
So you're going to say in like 6 months, when someone just like you is out there looking for Head of the Class info online, they're going to find this podcast.
They're going to find this podcast. They're going to find my TikTok.
God bless. Bless your heart. I'm sorry. Sorry to sit through this. All right, we got to put something up there. If you're listening to this and you searched Head of the Class and blindly went into this episode of the podcast and you're hearing this right now, like an hour and some minutes in, send us a message. Yeah, send us a message and say, hey,
you are a rock star.
I found you through a Head of the Class Google search. We need to know. We need to know where you are. And it doesn't matter if this happens like the day after this episode's released or if it's like 5 years after this episode comes out. Like,
when you find this, let us know.
Let us know. Yeah, I want to know how many people out there are Googling Head of the Class. But maybe, you know what? Maybe when the reboot pops, maybe there'll be like a lot more. Maybe a lot more will be popping up. Yeah.
Maybe. I think there will be like...
Maybe it'll be on top of the charts, top of the search engine results for Head of the Class.
We can only hope. We can only manifest it.
We can only hope. All right. Yeah. You know what? Put it in the vision board. Put it on the 2022 vision board that someone finds this episode. That's a Head of the Class junkie. You know what?
I can't be the only one.
All right. Any last minute thoughts on Head of the Class?
Head of the Class, first 3 seasons are pretty solid. Season 4 is really hard to watch. Just warning you people. And then season 5, there's a brand new energy. It's like a fun show, and it's not all about Dennis and Arvid anymore.
It's like the last season of Scrubs.
Like, it pops off.
Yeah, it pops off. You heard it here first.
It's fun, and then it gets like a spin-off starring Billy, and then...
What is this? I don't know about this.
Yeah, you didn't know? Okay, so after Head of the Class is canceled, because you can't keep these kids in high school for much longer. It's already been 5 years. And they're supposed to be geniuses.
Right.
They graduate. Janice comes back for the graduation. She's actually just graduated from Harvard.
Oh, good for her. Shout out to Janice.
And Alan's all like, I'll see you at Harvard. She's like, I just graduated yesterday.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm fucking...
Sorry. But,
I just started my own Fortune 500.
Yeah, she's already got, like, a job lined up.
Good for her.
The school gets demolished, so Billy loses his job. He moves to... The guy who replaced Mr. Moore, he moves to California to teach a community college class.
Oh.
But then his visa expires, so he marries, like, one of his students and lives in her basement.
Ooh.
And she's got 3 kids, one of whom is played by Johnny Galecki.
Ooh, from Roseanne and Big Bang Theory.
Yes. And there is one episode of this show on YouTube that I've been able to find. It's the 2nd episode.
What is this show called?
It's called Billy. And I watched the 1 episode of it last night.
Hold on. I feel like we've talked about this before.
I don't know. Maybe we have. You know what? Ooh. I think it aired on the same Saturday night block as Growing Pains.
Yeah, we did. We just talked about this recently because it's what's his name? Billy Connolly, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, we just talked about this. Yeah, we just talked about this. You know what?
we talked
hold on.
months ago.
When this episode of Head of the Class airs, the Growing Pains episode probably won't have been released yet because it's in that like vortex of episodes that haven't come out yet. So you're gonna hear about this in the future, and we're probably gonna talk about how we've never done Head of the Class before.
Our release schedules. Like, I can't even remember what we talked about on the Days of Our Lives episode. I mean, I know what we talked about, but like, it's just so like topical now.
I can't even remember what I was talking about. It was part of the TGIF lineup, like I think initially, and then it moved to Saturday night. And Saturday night, it was the final season of Growing Pains, so they were kind of, and they were just kind of like against each other, or maybe on the same block.
And who's the boss?
Yeah, that was it. Okay, all right, because I was like, all right, I knew we talked about this. All right, so wild times, connecting all these dots that we didn't know existed, connecting these threads.
Yeah, I think they were all on the same block.
So when you hear us talk about Head of the Class, it's going to be all out of order. What's a famous TV show that... What's a famous TV show that aired stuff out of order? Arrested Development.
Yeah, it's a hot mess. I don't even know what's up.
Alias, I feel like, did things out of order sometimes. Yeah, so, I don't know. Shout out to us for creating this world. All right, so normally this is the part of the podcast where we say what's going to happen next week, but because...
We don't know.
We have this whole vortex of episodes that are either coming out or they're not coming out when we want them to.
Yeah.
So, your guess is as good as ours. So, deal with that for now. Where can you follow our Wild Adventures Castle, the author? Where can you follow us?
You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr at A Very Special Podcast. I should probably just make us a TikTok at this point.
I mean, might as well, right? Just do it. I don't even know how to work it, but if you know how to work it, then is it worth it?
I kind of do. I don't know what I'm doing on there, but we'll figure it out.
All right, so go all those places. And as always, girl.
Bye.
Bye. Watch the skies for broken glass everywhere.